let's talk about the AccuQuilt Go and the AccuQuilt Go Me. And we're going to just do a quick comparison between the two. So first up, what you will notice about them will these are both manual machines that assist quilters with cutting their fabrics very quickly. So I have to say that my AccuQuilt Go, which is this big one right here, is a staple for me. Ever since I acquired it, it has saved me a ton of time. I use it mostly for cutting strips when I'm trying to make a quick scrappy tote or scrappy quilt, whatever I'm doing. This saves a ton of time. Um, it just anyone who's a quilter knows that cutting can be an all day affair. It depends on how intricate you're making your cuts. It depends on how many pieces you are putting into your project, but you can be cutting all day long. When I got my AccuQuilt, that just cut down the time by leaps and bounds. There is something to be said for people who say that it wastes fabric. If you fold it right, I think that you can really make it so that you're not wasting fabric, but it's definitely a time saver. The other thing that's really cool that versus like people who use a Cricut machine or any other kind of die cutting machine that's not an AccuQuilt is that, like, let's take the Cricut for example. I hear a lot of people they use the Cricut machine to cut fabric. Well, in order to use the Cricut machine, you have to use one layer of fabric and put it on the sticky paper, and then and cut it down to 12 by 12 size, and then put it into the machine. With the AccuQuilt, you can cut through 6 layers of fabric at a time, which again, time saver. You can get a lot done very quickly and in short order. This one is a manual. This one's also a manual machine. It's a hand crank. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a hand crank on the side here. I'll kind of turn it a little bit. There's a hand crank here that you can use to push it through. And this one has the same. So you do need to have a little bit of hand dexterity in order to use the AccuQuilt Go. However, Big Sister has a big sister. The Big Mama is the one that it is automatic, which means that it you plug it in, you put the dies in, and it will cut it automatically. You don't have to crank it. It's electric completely, which is something that I aspire to acquire one day. Put it on my wish list. Um, Again, time saver, wide platform, really a great tool. So far as AccuQuilt Go is concerned, both are designed for beginner quilters. It really will it cuts very accurately, and it really saves a lot of time. And I think that's really important when you are a beginner quilter, because you can get very frustrated in just trying to cut your pieces correctly. That can throw off your whole game. If your pieces are not cut correctly, your blocks won't come out right. You'll get frustrated, and if you're anything like people who like to be very precise or get it right the first time, you might lose heart in trying to get your project finished because your pieces are not cut right. So that's one of the number one things that you learn about quilting is like your cutting start that's like the base. If you're not cut correctly, then all the quarter-inch seam allowance in the world is not going to help. So for a beginner, I would definitely recommend investing in an AccuQuilt Go, whether it's one of the big size or the mini. So let's talk about some of the comparisons or some of the differences between the two. So obviously, size. AccuQuilt Go is portable, but she's heavy. It has a solid weight to it. I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but it has girth. Oh my goodness. It's super heavy. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it is portable, right? It is portable in that I can pick it up and put it on the table. I can move it around my room. I can move it from one room to the other and I can use it. But it's not portable like something that I necessarily want to travel with, right? It's heavy. It's not something that you can fit in a suitcase necessarily. It's definitely something that you want to be relatively stationary. Whereas the The Go is definitely portable, right? You can pick it up with one hand. It is designed to go on quilt retreats. It's designed to be portable. It's designed to be personal size. It's not. It's designed to take it with you. And so, definitely from a weight perspective, if you have any challenges with carrying heavy items, I would lean towards the Go Me as opposed to the Go, because if you have any restrictions on carrying heavy items, you're going to need two hands to lift this bad boy. The other option, again, is the big one, which is the fully electric, but that one is not portable. It's stationary, right? It lays on the table, it stays where it is. You can't take it with you. So if you're talking portability or the ability to take it with you on a quilt retreat, the Me is a good option for you. So now, of course, because it's smaller, let's talk about the dies. And how this works is similar to a for paper crafters. They have the big shot, right, where you crank it through and you have dies. And oh, I guess I should have put the dies out here. Let me grab it out of the box. So you have dies for different shapes that you want to create, and you crank the dies through the machine. And I'm going to go ahead and open this one so you can see how it goes in. You have dies, and then you put a mat on top with your fabric in between, and you crank it through. That's essentially how that works. Now, I don't have the mat on here and I don't have the fabric, but essentially that's how the machine works. So, biggest difference right away is the size format, right? This is approximately the 6-inch square format. So, the dies for this machine are smaller, right? This one you can put up to 12 inches, the dies that are 12 inches wide or 9 inches or something like that. The wider dies can go through here. So, I've cut 9-inch squares through here. I've cut my 2-inch strips through here. You can use the smaller ones in here. So when you're talking about versatility and using different size dies, the Go is way more versatile because you can use the larger format and the small format. It doesn't matter. Whereas this one, you can only use the ones that can fit through this window. So there is that comparison. But again, if you are just traveling and you just need to cut a bunch of triangles, this is actually a square, and you can cut the 4 triangles that go with the square, and that's all you need to cut while you're traveling, then this is perfect, right? Um, so size matters in terms of whatever you're looking to cut. And I think there is a die that you can buy that is just as wide as this platform, and it's like a 2-inch die, but it's really long, and you can cut with this one. So again, there's some options available to it. Um, The next topic would be the ease of use. So I think they're both beginner friendly. Definitely, this one is beginner friendly. I will say again, you need to have some strength in your arms, especially if you're going to go ahead and try and cut those 6 layers of fabric at the same time, even with the Go or even with the Go Me. You need to have a little bit of strength in your arms in order to turn the crank and get your fabric through there. But it's easy to use. All you need to do is pretty much put your fabric anywhere along the to cover the darkened part of your die, and inside these dies, like where the lines are here, they're blades. And those blades kind of pop out during the process of cranking it through the machine, and it will cut clean through your fabric. I have yet to have a situation where I run it through and it doesn't cut clean. So you get really accurate cuts using these machines. And that's something that I really like about it because it's quick, it's accurate, it's clean. I don't have a lot of snipping to do afterwards. You might have one or two, like 1 to 2 threads. It depends on your fabric, right? What I would suggest to avoid that is to iron and starch your fabric before you cut. So if you iron and starch your fabric, then you are less likely to have any of those random threads that don't cut through. The only other way that you would run into a problem is if you try to put too many layers on your die. It does cut 6 layers, but 6 layers. That's it. Don't try to do 7 or 8 or 12. Okay. So definitely from an ease perspective, both machines are kind of equal, I would say. From a price point perspective, obviously you're going to save some money going with the AccuQuilt Go. Me. Um, this one comes, I think it runs like 150 brand new. It runs in the range of 150 to maybe $200, maybe. And it comes with two dies, your mat, and some projects that you can use with it, which is a really, really great deal. Um, this one is obviously a bit more. You do get one die and you don't get the mat with it. So, just like anything else, whenever you're buying these products, it seems to almost like nickel and dime you a little bit buying the dies, buying the mats. The mats do wear out. You do have to replace the mats. The dies last a pretty long time, but the dies can be expensive. So, from a cost perspective, this is a good deal because you can get multiple dies with the machine as opposed to just paying $300-400 for this machine and you don't get dies. You might get one, but you're not going to get like two and a mat. You're going to have to buy the extra pieces that go along with it. So from a cost or a price point, if you're trying to stay within a budget, I would definitely recommend the Go Me, especially this is your first time out. It's I think it's also a great way to start, and then when you're ready to upgrade, you can trade up, right? You can sell this one and trade up to a larger one and then trade up to the next one. So it's a great starter, especially for the money. It's definitely a great deal. um Time saving, I think I talked a little bit about the time saving. I don't think I can stress that enough. I didn't think that it would save me as much time as it did until I started using my AccuQuilt Go. And I found that when I used to spend a day cutting, um, you're like, I just want to start this project and I'm spending all this time cutting. And then when you use a Go and you're like, oh, everything's done. It really cuts it down to minutes. So from a time saving perspective, both machines are golden. We talked about accuracy. Um, oh, versatility. So what's nice about the AccuQuilt Go for both of them? Well, really, you get a bit more versatility out of the larger one than you do out of the smaller one, and that's because of the die size. The This one I would say is a bit more versatile because you can use the smaller dies in this machine, but you can only use the small dies in this one, right? So, and they have so many options available. You can go out to their website. There is a store local to us here in North Carolina, down in Gastonia, that sells them in store. It's it's hard to find them in store, so you can go online. They have sales all the time, so you can check it out. And they have everything from sailboats to letters to shapes, all kinds of things. And then they have like this cube that you can buy. It's a box. It's a cube of dies that you can purchase for a couple $100. And again, you get this versatility because you get all of these different options and they give you projects to go along with it. So you're not just getting dies and you don't know what to do with them. They're giving you projects that you can use to figure out how to manipulate the pieces in different ways and to change them around and get multiple quilts out of the same die. So that's pretty cool. So there's lots of creative possibilities with both machines. I think that this was a really great find. It's really user friendly, and I've always enjoyed using my larger one. It would be my absolute pleasure to pass this one off to a new quilter or someone who's just starting out, and you know they want to get to the sewing part, right? But the cutting part is a challenge. So I definitely think that this is a way to save you from that, to save you from that feeling of, I just can't get past cutting it straight. I can't cut straight. Grab yourself an AccuQuilt Go. I think that's going to solve that problem for you and definitely get you on the way of completing your first quilt, your second quilt, your third quilt. And then as you go on and you learn a little bit more, you'll learn how to cut accurately so that you may not lean on it so much, but definitely a great starter tool for your arsenal. All right, So that's my comparison. If I had to give it a rating, I don't know if I can give it a rating. I would rate the AccuQuilt Go definitely I give it a 9 out of 10. It really is a great tool, time saving, and I've used it enough to say that it's had an impact on my creativity. And then, oh, I've even made like jelly rolls in minutes using this. Like I can design my own jelly rolls. Just grab some scraps and make some jelly rolls in minutes. So to me, definitely a 9. The AccuQuilt Go Me, I would give it probably a 7. And here's why I would give it a 7. I give it a 7 because it's small, right? It's still portable, it is versatile, but it is small, which limits the size dies that you can use in it. But definitely a great starter tool. So that's my take on it. I'd love to hear your feedback if you are a quilter, if you've used an AccuQuilt, or if you've been curious about an AccuQuilt. Drop your comments down there. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to come by the store and try them out. Both are available in the store. This one is actually my personal machine, but this one will be available for sale in the store. The box that it came in has the two dies that it came with. It has the machine and the case. The only thing that it's missing is the mat, which I might go ahead and buy and stick in the box so that you have a complete set. I haven't decided yet. I need to go ahead and look at the cost of that, but the mats are, you have to replace the mats anyway. So to me, it wasn't a big deal that the mat wasn't included. Um, okay, so I hope you enjoyed this quick unboxing comparison video of the AccuQuilt Go and the AccuQuilt Go Me. I really enjoyed kind of researching a little bit more about them, and you can see that quilting's kind of a thing that I enjoy. So it was a lot of fun sharing this with you. Um,